Hello there, and thank you for joining us on the full ship tour of the Celebrity Reflection, one of the Solstice class of ships from Celebrity. This ship is about 125,000 tons and can handle just over 3,000 passengers when it is at capacity. On this tour, we're going to start at the bottom of the ship down on deck 3, and as we go through this tour, we're going to end up having a little title in the bottom left there that's going to show you what deck we're on and what the area is generally called. And then in the bottom right, you're going to see a ship map and deck plan that's going to give you an idea of about where we're at on that particular deck as we go through there with a little red dot. And here we are starting out down on deck 3. We're going to start off with the main dining room down here on deck 3, the Opus dining room. Now, this is their included for free main dining. It is actually 2 stories tall, and we will go up and get a look at the second story when we do deck 4 here in just a little bit. But this dining room is actually very, very nice, and Celebrity's onboard dining in their main dining is very good. These are opulent dining rooms with a ton of seating and capacity. They do handle all of the reserved dining and then all of the other dining where you just kind of walk in as like a My Time dining. The opposite side of the main dining room down here is for Lumine for the retreat guests, and they kind of have their own separate little area with their own menus that they can order from. And then just past that is the shore reservations right there. And then over here, you're going to have a passport bar as well. This is just the main bar that's down here on deck 3 as part of the main plaza area that we're going to be kind of walking through here in a minute. The grand foyer is very beautiful on these ships. They hold a lot of events down here, but it's also home to these elevator shafts that are all glass and are very pretty elevators to kind of go up and down, and you get a really great view of all the different areas almost all the way up to deck 12. And then across from that is guest services down here on deck 3, and that is kind of where you're going to go if you do need any help with your cruise or anything regarding the services while you're there on board. And then we're going to go ahead from here and we're going to head on up to deck 4. All right, now as we head on up here to deck 4, I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour of the area here around the elevators, and so you can kind of see what the stair and elevator areas look like. And then we're going to head over to the opposite side for the Opus dining room, so you can kind of get an idea of what the upper area looks like and what it looks like a little bit from the opposite side here. But the Opus dining room is actually very nice, really good dining, and then has this huge wine bottle showcase there in the center as well. Now as we leave the Opus dining room, we're going to head on over to Cellar Masters. This is kind of their wine / sports bar that they have here on board. It is kind of set up as a very dimly lit, dark area that you can come in and watch TV. They'll have different events going on the 2 TVs that they've got in here as part of Cellar Masters. All right, now as we go ahead and head out of here, we're going to go ahead and head off towards the casino, but not before showing you this little second entrance that you can use for Cellar Masters here to kind of go in 2 different places. Now as we head on up here, you're going to get a really good view of what the grand foyer looks like and head across over to the martini bar. Now their martini bar here is iced. That top there is all ice. And now as we head back past that area, we're going to head back through the shops here, and you're going to see kind of one of the entrances here to this casino. We're going to go through the casino here in just a little bit. It's going to be kind of a quick tour of the casino, but it'll at least give you an idea of what it looks like. There will be a full and complete casino tour done by my wife in a little bit here. But out here in the entertainment court, you're gonna find the area where they do some other kind of fun events throughout the cruise. And then we're gonna go ahead and just enter into the casino. And like I said, we're gonna go through here pretty quick. Luckily, when I went through here, this area was closed, so they don't have any problem with you filming. But I actually don't think Celebrity has too much trouble with you filming it most of the times. But these casinos do get a little bit busy here. But if you really enjoy this, like I said, my wife will do a full and complete casino tour for you, and there will be a link at the end of the video here so that you can come in and get a better idea of what the casino is actually like. Now, as we head out past the casino here, we're going to go back past their entertainment court bar, and we're going to go into an area called Celebrity Central. And Celebrity Central is where they'll hold smaller performances. Like a lot of times they will hold comedians in here, or they'll have some very specific like talk or something that they do, or presentation that they do here in Celebrity Central. But it's a little bit hidden. It's just kind of off to the side of the main theater here on deck 4 on the starboard side of the ship. It's not always readily apparent where it's at in here. So now we'll head out of the Celebrity Central and we'll go ahead and go into the Reflection Theater here, and we will give you a little bit better view of what this theater is actually really like. These theaters are pretty large. You usually don't have too much trouble finding a seat as long as you get there early. The theater itself is actually pretty comfortable, and most places throughout the theater offer a pretty good view of whatever performance they do have going on here in the main theater. There is also a 5th deck that you can get into on deck 5, but we're going to skip that, and we're going to go ahead and start the tour of deck 5 heading forward of the main theater here. There's a little bit of an art gallery here, but that leads up to this photo gallery area here, which also doubles as their internet support area if you do need any type of internet support with their Wi-Fi while you're on board. And then we're going to go ahead and continue past even more of the art here and more of the shops right back up here towards the world-class bar. Now the world-class bar is really neat because it is this open deck 5 space that looks down onto the open walkways down below on deck 4 and making it feel really, really open and really spacious up here. And then that's going to head forward up here to Sushi on 5, which is one of the paid for restaurants. This is a specialty dining restaurant on board. It is a la carte, I do believe. You can order in parts and pieces. It's not just a single fee, and you can kind of get what you want based and just pay what you want to pay based on how much you want to get. Hello. And then over here is Cafe El Baccio, and that's where you're going to kind of get some specialty coffees as well as some of the pastries, and most of those pastries are free and included. And then this is their gelateria. If you want to come and get scoops of ice cream, they are not free. They are at a cost. Now as we do head back towards the aft section, here in the Ensemble Lounge, you're going to run into Michael's Club. This is for the retreat guests only. It is kind of their own special little club area where they can come in and get specialty coffees and waters and have kind of a place to hang out here. They do have their own little bar space up in here if they want to get something special, but from what I understand, a lot of the stuff in there is free. And then over here you're going to run into Murano, which is another specialty dining restaurant. It's their Italian food themed restaurant and is pretty good. I have not eaten on these in this restaurant on these class of ships, but my wife has, and she really enjoyed her time when she was there in Murano. Now as we take off here out of Murano, we're going to head back through the Ensemble Lounge and their bar area here, and we're going to head back towards the other 3 specialty dining restaurants that are back here at the back of deck 5. Cuisine is another specialty restaurant. This is where they do kind of a themed dinner where they do a display on your plates. It's almost like a little dinner show on that they show you on the plates as you're going throughout the meal. The menu does change on kind of a regular basis, but it's actually kind of a fun show to do the La Petite Chef show here in Cuisine. And then across from that is Blue, and Blue is reserved specifically for the Aqua class guests only. It's a little bit more lighter, healthier fare from what I understand. Unfortunately, I've never been in any of the Aqua class cabins to kind of experience this, but it does seem like it's a pretty nice restaurant. And then as we kind of take off out of Blue here, we're gonna end up heading all the way to the very back of Deck 5, and back in here we're going to run into the Tuscan Grill. Now the Tuscan Grill is their steak and seafood house. It's also a specialty dining, it is for a cost, but they do get the back part of the ship here and do have these really nice view windows that look out the back of the ship when it's daytime and you can actually see out the windows. But unfortunately I was doing this at a very early time of the morning so that I could actually come in here without any passengers and give you an idea of what these restaurants are looking like. Now after we leave the area here, we're going to kind of head out to the deck space, and there is a little bit of deck space out on Deck 5. You can go out on either side of the ship on Deck 5 and kind of get a little bit of time out here. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and head up to Deck 6, and Decks 6 through 12 have these small little spaces that are public areas right along the glass elevator shaft. Now on Deck 6, it is their iLounge. You can come in here, and if you need to, you can get some time on a full-size computer if you need to. You do have to buy internet time to be able to use these, but it is here if you do need access to a full-size computer, and it is all Apple equipment in here, just so as you can tell there. But all of these do have these really nice views out to the elevator shaft. And then here on Deck 7, you're going to run into the Hideaway. This is just kind of its own little quiet space where you can come sit and hang out and read a book if you wish. They have all these little comfortable, odd seating areas, as well as a really great view out to the elevator shaft. They also have these two little suspended reading pods, is kind of what they look like, but they're actually just little pods that overlook Deck 7 that are only accessible from Deck 8. And then up here on Deck 9, you're going to come into an area called Game On. Now this is kind of their little gaming area. They do have board games there at the back that you can play. And then they also have these tables here that have built-in screens that you can also play some additional games on. But like I said, if you've got a family member or a group of friends that like to come in and play games with each other, this is actually a really good place to kind of come in and have a little bit of game time on a sea day or something like that. Now as we head on up here to Deck 10, we're actually going to run into the library. Now this is actually a dedicated reading space. There are books that are here. It is a full-on 2-story high library area and has an absolutely beautiful view of the glass elevators there. It's just a very quiet, serene looking little area to come grab a little bit of quiet time if you wish. And then the very last of the kind of elevator public spaces is here on Deck 12. And Deck 12 is a concierge area for celebrity guests that have status, that are repeat cruisers with them. If you're some sort of level of cruises after you've gone and got a bunch of points with them, you can certainly come in here and they will have different offerings and events that they hold just for their members. Now Deck 12 also is where you're going to go to the spa and the fitness center here. The fitness center on the Reflection is actually really nice. It is very large. There is a lot of space in here, lots of machines, lots of treadmills, plenty of free weight areas. And it's a little bit older equipment, but that's kind of to be expected on a slightly older ship like this. There are also door exits that go out to the very front of Deck 12, and you can kind of go out to the front of the ship and get a really nice view if you wish to for some reason. Don't play with the scale on a cruise, you don't want to get on that. And then, like I said, as you run through here, there are plenty of free weights, plenty of equipment. Hello. I'll be probably heading here later at some point after I do my walk around the ship, but that's all right. For those that do have memberships, they do have Peloton bikes in this one. So if you are really into that, just be aware they do have Peloton. And they do provide cold towels, regular dry towels, and they do have water that is ice chilled, and usually they'll have some sort of lemon or orange or something like that there at the back of the gym. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and head out of the fitness center, and we're gonna head on up to Deck 14. Now, Deck 14 is kind of where we're gonna head up here into the Sky Lounge. Now, the Sky Lounge is kind of what it is. It's a forward observation lounge. They do have a lot of live music in here if you like to come in and listen to some live acoustic music. They have a really nice bar here at the back. There's plenty of seating, and they do hold different events throughout the cruise back here as well. It's kind of a nice quiet place to sit. It's actually also a really nice kind of cool place to come sit if you were on embarkation day and you're doing your sail away. It's a pretty nice quiet place if you don't want to be out on deck with all the party and the music going on. Now, as we head back from the Sky Lounge here on Deck 14, you're going to run into the Solarium pool area. This is the adults only pool area, and it's mainly meant as a fully enclosed quiet pool area for people over 18 years of age. Sometimes you'll get some families in here, but it is always a nice quiet place in here. It's got a couple of hot tubs. It's got a nice little pool in the center, and then I do believe as we kind of head across here, you're going to get a view of their light fare eating area. It's kind of the little spa cafe food that they use. Some of the food over here is free, some of it is not, so just be aware of that. Now, as we kind of head over here, you're going to see the other hot tub that's on the opposite side. And then after we leave this area, we're going to head on out to the pool area. Now, this is their main pool area. This is where all the fun party events and stuff go on. There's a few hot tubs out here. I'm sorry, I'm going to kind of zip through this pretty quick because there's not a lot out here at the moment, but it'll give you kind of an idea of what it's like, and I will do a better view up on 15 here in a little bit of what this area is like. Now, there is plenty of seating out here. There is access up to Deck 15, but the main draw is through the back here into the Ocean View Cafe. This is their main buffet area, and I have found that on these Solstice class of ships, this can get pretty busy. Now, there are a couple of drink stations here. It is an island pod style system of buffet, and it can get a little crowded. So I'm going to suggest if you do come in here, try and get there a little bit early, try and reserve a seat, but their buffets on these ships are very, very good. You will enjoy the buffets. Now, out here, you're going to find a huge outdoor area of additional seating if you don't mind dining outside. And then we're going to go ahead and head back into the buffet to give you a tour of the rest of the area here. I went through here pretty early, so they were doing some of their setup, but you will kind of get an idea of how this buffet is set up and some of the things that they have in here. Now, as we head back out of the Ocean View Cafe in the main buffet area, they do have kind of even some more seating here at the front, but then this is going to kind of lead us back out onto the main pool deck and up to deck 15. Now, up here on deck 15, there are a lot of different venues. There is the Masked Grill. And the Masked Grill is just kind of its own, like, burgers, hot dogs, little restaurant that you can grab out on deck. They do have ice cream there as well. And then you'll find that there is a whole lot of extra seating up here. It is also home to the jogging track. If you do want to go for a run, I would suggest doing it in the morning instead of trying to compete with all the guests that are out here out on the lounge chairs. It'll make it a little bit easier for you. But all of this does have a really nice view overlooking down onto deck 14. And then we're going to head back past this area to the Lawn Club. This is one of their, I guess, features on this ship, and it is a fairly unique feature on board any class of cruise ship. That is actual grass. They mow it, they water it, they take care of it. It is an area that they do also have little events that they'll have out there on the grass. They'll do like bocce ball or some other little activity that they will come out and play out there on the lawn. And they also have plenty of extra seating. They have just kind of a nice little lookout area here where you can come out and spend a little bit of time out on the lawn. And then back here at the back of the ship, you're going to run into the Sunset Bar. And this is where you're going to kind of come sit out here if you want a really nice view and to grab a drink and spend a little bit of time outside. Any time of the day or night when this bar is open, this is actually a really nice place to come grab a drink and spend a little bit of time. And then over on this side of the lawn, this area is actually a putting green. You can come out here and grab a putter and a couple of golf balls. I'm not going to tell you that it's like hitting up one of the practice greens at Augusta National, but it's actually kind of a neat little feature that they do have out there for you to be able to just kind of spend some time being out on the grass and having a little bit of fun for a little bit of time while you're hanging out up here on deck 15. Now we're going to keep heading back forward here of the Lawn Club, and this section of the Lawn Club has these cabanas. They do have it on both sides, but it gives you kind of a little space to come and hang out. I do believe you're supposed to rent those cabanas. I've never done it, but yep, there they are actually cutting the grass. And then over here they do have this nice little restaurant called The Porch. The Porch is mainly seafood. It is at an extra cost though. There is a fee for some of the food there. And then we're gonna go ahead and kind of zip back down the jogging track here on the opposite side of deck 15, just to give you a better idea of the pool area here. This is kind of what it looks like. 4 hot tubs, two different pool sections. And it does get pretty busy out here, especially on sea days, especially on any of the Caribbean cruises that this ship goes on. It's going to be a fairly busy pool area, unless it's a port day somewhere. Now over here is the Masked Bar, opposite side of the Masked Grill, and it is the bar side of the grill area where you can come grab a drink. This is also their smoking area, so just be aware of that. This side is for outdoor smoking for their guest areas. And then as we keep heading back here towards technically towards the forward portion, you're going to have an entrance up to deck 16 there, but we'll do that in just a bit. And then we're going to give you a little look of what it's like here for the view up on deck 15. Now the very, very forward part of deck 15 is their sports court. They do have a little basketball court up here where you can come and grab a little bit of exercise if you want to come play basketball. I do believe they have a couple of little sporting events out here that they'll hold in there, but it's mainly meant for their basketball court area. So, all right, we're kind of coming to the end here of deck 15. It's going to kind of zip back to where we started here. It's going to go past an entrance to the Solstice deck here as well. They do have stairs that go up to deck 16 up there on both sides of deck 15 to give you kind of a little bit of an easier access to get up here. The jogging track does go all the way around there, and it does kind of give you a little bit of a look into the Solarium area here up on deck 15, so you can kind of see that. All right, now the final deck on board here is deck 16. You can access it through these stairs right here on deck 15. There are also stairs that go up here from the elevators, forward elevators on deck 15, that you can kind of come up to deck 16 this way as well. But this is really just a big open sun deck. It is not for any cost or anything. Anybody can come in here and use this, and it gives you a really kind of nice open view of the forward and sides of the ship. It's a really picturesque place to come if you want to come do sail away up here. It's a really good place to get a view of all the ports when you're either coming or going from any of the locations that you go to, or sailing away from wherever you started. So, all right, we have walked through the entire ship there, and I hope this video was helpful for you. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe, and thanks for watching.